Since its beginning, FertGo has been seeking out fertilisers that are more efficient, effective and easier on the environment than existing alternatives. Their products are tested independently to give further assurance to end users. CEO Warwick Voice introduces us to a new product that's showing promising results.
Smarter Fertiliser controlled release urea, which is basically a urea granule encapsulated in a polymer coating that turns it into an osmotic release of nitrogen. For farmers, the controlled release urea is twofold in its benefit. One being that you can mitigate loss, so mitigation of leaching and volatilisation. And the second one really is managerial. So ease of management, you can apply 3 months of urea in one hit, and you don't need necessarily wait for desirable weather. You can pop it on any time you like. As far as the application of the product and the type of farming that people undertake, it can be anywhere from cropping, dairy, sheep and beef. In this case, it's going to be in an equine situation. So it doesn't really matter. It's up to the farmer to marry up the feature and benefit to whatever their managerial system is. It has purpose across the board, really, particularly if you blend the material with other nutrient that you require. And that might even be other fast-acting nitrogen. So phosphate, potassium, it blends well with everything. Dr. Doug Edmeades is heading up the R&D on the product. It has been practically trialled in pot trials, so that's under glass if you like, and now it's moving out into the field where we're doing trial work on pastures and also crops. The material itself is coming out of Malaysia, and if you think about why Malaysia, well, Malaysia's got natural gas to make urea, and they've got the basis of the polymer. It's a biodegradable vegetable oil that they're using, palm oil. So the biodegradable nature of the polymer coating is quite important from an environmental standpoint and also from a mitigation of the risk of animal ingestion, really. At this stage, it's more expensive than urea, obviously, because it contains a few advantages and some new technology. But we're hoping to drive that down over a period of time through increased volume, but also probably bringing the technology to New Zealand, as in the polymer, bring the polymer to New Zealand and coat New Zealand ureas with the product here.
Ease of management is a big point of view. It's one dressing type thing when you've got a property of this size with this many paddocks and set stocked horses in them, like 6 horses in a paddock type thing. Trying to logistically put fert on the whole farm can be a bit of a nightmare. With this way, we can just put the nitrogen on once for the winter type thing and not have to try and do 2 or 3 separate dressings, because it's just such a big job to do that type thing. So, and the environmental reasons as well. We try to go down that green path as much as possible. We find this, because of its slow release, less leaching, less dispersal into the atmosphere, we find that suits our ideals.
We've got 120 hectares. The whole farm is harvested for grass. We make very little supplement on the farm, and it all goes in the vat. I'm really against large amounts of nitrogen going on, and so I prefer, as I say, just to trickle it on, and we really try here too to get our clovers to work and to get a benefit from that. So we try to complement our existing nitrogen system. We're not excessive urea users, but it works really well. In the spring we use the Smart Fert with sulphate of ammonia as well, and that's a really good combination too. It goes really, really well through that early spring. The cost is always a bit frightening when you see the figures, but the results are there. We're really, really happy with it, and it works well for us, and we'll continue to use it.
This is the product itself. This is 3-month controlled, so it's been double coated with the polymer coating. To all intents and purposes, it's urea, but you can tell it's a little bit shinier. So the polymer coating itself works on osmosis, as I said earlier. And osmosis, basically, when it gets wet, the product nutrient inside swells in the granule, and it forces itself out through the pores of the polymer coating. It's primarily a plastic, but it's made out of natural ingredients. Palm oil is the basis. It's been described as the holy grail of controlled release nutrients, and that it's taken quite a few years to develop, particularly at an affordable level in bulk. Previously, people might be familiar with Osmocote. That's where the technology came from, and it's been developed into basically an available agricultural product. This material is designed to break down over 90 days. You can get 120 or 30 day. We find that 90 day works in the New Zealand situations best.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.